We proceeded in 1983 trying to get more isolates from people with AIDS. We accumulated, by the time we submitted our papers to Science, a total of 48. In other words, 48 different patients we had virus from.
At the time that Bob Gallo published his 4 papers all in a row in Science in May 1984, one of those papers claimed that there were up to 48 separate isolations from different patients, and that there's been controversy as to whether that was correct. It's really, to my mind, an academic argument, how many angels dance on the head of a pin, because it relies on the definition of what is an isolate. What they claimed in that paper is that they could grow the virus, at least for a short time, and observe virus activity by assaying for the reverse transcriptase enzyme in at least 48 different patients.
Gallo tried to find reverse transcriptase activity in a number of cultures from AIDS patients, and when they failed to find such activity, they went and co-cultured the H9 cell line with supernatants or cells, we still don't know exactly, from a number of patients. And it's such a mixture. It was known even before the HIV era that when you have co-cultures, the cell, even normal cells, can start to produce virus-like particles and reverse transcriptase activity. So you don't know what you're looking at.
He claimed in those early papers in 1984 that he'd isolated, but he used the term isolation extremely loosely. He used it to refer to some marker signals of activity in the cultures that he worked with, that he interpreted as meaning the presence of this virus, but he was never actually able to find particles of HIV and purify them and show that they were HIV, show that they were a unique virus that was just in these patients who tested positive, and that patients who didn't test positive didn't have these same particles present in them. He only managed to make the genetic phenomena that he termed HIV become apparent through a very, very long procedure of stimulating cell culture, co-culturing cells from patients with other cells from other patients and kicking them with chemicals and mixing them in cell lines which themselves are known to be highly active, like a leukemic cell line. And he eventually obtained some signals coming out of this, but there was no reason actually at that point to interpret that as meaning that he'd proved that he had a new virus isolated and proven, and therefore, because he hadn't managed to do that, he also was not justified in claiming that this blood test, this so-called HIV test, was diagnostic for HIV.
Some people are very fortunate that they don't have these side effects.
So what